What's up, guys? I'm Mike D'Antonio, founder and CEO of StockedUp. Welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have an exciting episode for you guys here today. We had two huge companies report earnings today, Microsoft and Tesla, and they both reported some very surprising earnings and didn't really move too much in after hours, surprisingly. But we also did have some news regarding AMD and some other stock setups. And at the end of the video, we're going to be covering a $2.35 million options trade that expires in 2 days this Friday. So there are a lot of great things going on in the market right now. We are in earnings season, which is bringing a lot of volatility and just kind of like confusion to the markets overall. So yeah, we are in earnings season. We have a lot more big companies reporting earnings this week, but also next week. So if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see our daily videos on your YouTube homepage every single day. So Tom, what happened with Microsoft and Tesla earnings today?
Microsoft actually ended up having pretty bad earnings, even though their revenue grew 13%. But the big one that everybody was watching was Tesla. And Tesla had $6.04 billion of revenue versus $5.37 billion expected. So they did have a nice 7% gap up in after hours here. But it does look like they're starting to bleed off, back down towards where they kind of closed at around the $1,600 level. It seems like they're really starting to bleed back down, and they really had some decent news where they said that in one of their largest economic development projects in Austin's history, Tesla said that they're going to build a $1.1 billion assembly plant in Travis County that will employ 5,000 people, and this is where they're going to produce their Cybertruck and as well as a second production site for their Model Y SUV. And Tesla officials previously said that they intend to break ground on the factory by the third quarter of this year, which is going to be very quick for development that large. Although CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, said Wednesday that initial work at the site actually began last weekend. So they're already truly breaking ground on this in Austin, Texas, which is great to hear for Texas overall. They are kind of transferring out of California, and really Tesla's starting to bleed off here. And I wonder why they're starting to bleed off of these good earnings. But the only reason I would think is that Elon Musk was kind of leaking in emails leading up to earnings that earnings were going to be good. And we saw Tesla having big pops like they had the past few days up towards $1,700. So that could really be that really this earnings is already priced in on Tesla potentially.
Yeah, I could definitely see some investors kind of seeing the earnings price or already priced in. Like you said, we did have those email leaks, and we had a lot of good news already released with Tesla. And just a couple weeks ago, or I should say about less than a month ago, Tesla was $1,000 stock. Right now, it's sitting over 1,600, close to 1,700, and we just hit right below 1,800 last week. So Tesla had a crazy run up. And another thing to pay attention to is with earnings plays, you have to be so careful buying options before earnings, because you can lose money even if you predict the direction correctly. Like, for example, Tom lost money today with Snapchat puts, even though Snapchat fell today. And a lot of people are going to have that same scenario with Tesla, because I'm sure a lot of people bought Tesla calls right before close. And even though Tesla is up in after hours right now, a lot of people are still going to lose money, because with earnings, you not only have to predict the direction right, but you also have to predict how much Tesla or any other earnings company is going to rise. So like, for example, people were pricing in a $200 move to the upside or the downside with Tesla. And right now, Tesla only made like a $55 move. So keep that in mind. And with earnings plays, it's best to either short options or just not play earnings. Earnings are always very volatile. And if you buy options, you have to predict the direction correctly, but also you have to predict how high the stock will rise. And I feel like we're going to see that same type of move with Microsoft. So Tom, if you want to fill us in on Microsoft's earnings.
Yeah, Microsoft, their revenue grew 13% despite the coronavirus, like I said in the beginning, but their shares fell as much as 3% in after hours. As we can see here, their shares pretty much tanked, and it looks like they're trying to make a little bit of a recovery back to the upside, kind of like Snapchat did over the night yesterday. And it's a very similar thing that a lot of the tech stocks have been doing. We saw this a very similar play with Netflix a couple weeks ago whenever they had this same exact setup where they kind of fell and then just kind of consolidated back upwards. And then maybe they're going to, retest the lows of 205 tomorrow morning. But like Mike said, it's not even going to matter if you played options for it, because you could end up losing. Like, for example, I had bought, about $300 worth of Snap puts yesterday and in anticipation of them going down. And obviously I won on that. But the thing is that even though I won, I ended up losing $50 because obviously I had the pricing wrong. They were obviously expecting a larger move. If it would have ended up going down to the low of like 21.30, I might have, been winning a little bit, but I ended up losing $50 on that $300 position, which isn't the worst loss in the world. But whenever you lose picking a direction, it's just that the earnings options pricing that's really going to affect that. And, I learned the lesson today with Snap. I mean, I kind of knew this was going to happen already, so I didn't really learn the lesson. I was just kind of gambling on this play. But, it's just one of those plays with tech that it's going to happen. And I feel like a lot of people are going to get burned on this Tesla and Microsoft plays, both, especially the Tesla play, though. If they bleed back down, I mean, all the calls are definitely going to lose money tomorrow, and the puts are going to lose even more.
Absolutely. So it's definitely something interesting to pay attention to. So so awesome. So now for today's member of the day. And today's member of the day is Killagear 5000. Okay, so Killagear is an awesome member of the Discord, and he made an even better comment on yesterday's video. So he said, "I love listening to you guys during my workouts. Gets me pumped for the next day." So there we go. Amazing comment. And thank you so much for that. And Killagear is an amazing member of the Discord and definitely an asset to the StockedUp Discord community. So now for the momentum plays for tomorrow. And one of the biggest stocks today was AMD, up over 8.5%. And it's still trending even higher in after hours right now. AMD had an amazing day. It was pretty much just a straight shot up, and they broke all-time highs too, which is awesome to see. So, Tom, what levels should we be watching for AMD tomorrow?
I'd go ahead and wait for them to break 62.50 to the upside.
Yep, so if we see AMD break above $62.50, we will be considering to play this play to the upside. So if it breaks above $62.50, we might buy calls on it, we might buy the shares, something in a bullish sense. With the next stock, we are going to be looking at LMT, which is Lockheed Martin.
Yep, watch for Lockheed Martin to go ahead and pop above $395.
Again, to the upside, and then we have YUM.
Watch for YUM to go ahead and hit 94.25.
Yep, again to the upside. And last but not least, we have PFE.
Yeah, PFE had a very nice rise up today on that vaccine news yesterday. I'd go ahead and watch for them to break that high of 39.10 that they had this morning.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, they really had a nice run up in pre-market today, and they finished great overall, up over 5%. And they're showing a lot of upwards momentum for the market tomorrow. So it's awesome to see. I'm definitely keeping an eye on PFE for tomorrow to the upside. I almost bought calls on them today, but they do have a major resistance level at $39 especially, and it looks like they're even having trouble breaking that right now. So
yeah, I did see an article also talk about that they are projected to actually lose on earnings on this earnings report. So
really, yeah. So yeah, they have earnings too coming up. So again, PFE is potentially to the upside. So now with the unusual options activity for tomorrow. So we are looking at the AMD 63 strike calls that expire this Friday. And there's about $2.35 million put into this play. So with this play, you have to be very careful. AMD had an amazing day to the upside. They're still powering up in after hours right now. I think there's a ton of momentum right now with AMD. Their weekly options popped over 1,000%, which is absolutely insane. With this play, though, really it's just a giant momentum play. So if they still have like the upwards momentum that we saw today, this AMD 63 strike call could be an amazing play. However, if AMD is showing weakness tomorrow, then you would definitely want to stay away from this play. So it's hard to tell right now whether the AMD 63 strike calls will be a good play for tomorrow. But overall, it's just like a giant momentum play. And the best thing to do is kind of just to wait for it to break like the $62.50 level, or use some other form of gauge of momentum to help you, track this stock and just get a sense of how it's doing. So
Yeah, this is actually awesome with AMD. I love this all-time high that they hit today of $62. This is awesome, and they actually released new chips today that are going to be used in both Lenovo and HP's laptops in the third quarter, which is amazing to hear for them. And they've been developing some new a new 4000 series line of Radeon graphics cards as well, which are going to compete with NVIDIA's graphics cards.
yeah, so that's awesome for the company itself, and this would definitely explain why it had such an amazing day in the market today. So now for the questions from the previous episode. So with the for the first comment, we have Franco saying, "Thank you guys once again for giving your viewers great thoughts and inputs. What do you think about putting a call for NIO?" So let's take a look. NIO. Let's do an analysis real quick. Was down slightly today, down about 4%. What do you think about NIO, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those stocks right now that's a little bit overextended. I know it's another one of those electric car companies like Tesla, but guys, these stocks that go up, they do end up coming down and consolidating, and then they'll head back up towards their highs. These things do end up going down eventually, even though they've been popping well over 200% here over the past few weeks. But it's just one of those plays that it's just so high right now that I just couldn't see it to the upside tomorrow. They have a lot of upside right now in after hours, and they're bouncing off the 1,000 SMA. I would say if they, you could play it to the upside, but if they do start falling, I would really look at cutting it if they fall below like 1240 or like the 1220 level.
For sure, for sure. So can you go back to a daily chart real quick, Tom?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I think overall how it stands right now, I don't think NIO is gonna like crash and burn. I think there might be a tiny bit more upside potential, but really in the short term, I can definitely see NIO retesting its lows right around the $11 level. I could definitely see like a double bottom right there potentially. It's hard to tell right now, but given the short-term trend, I think they might fall a little bit more in the short term, then probably consolidate and maybe trend a little bit higher throughout the future. But it really depends on like news, earnings, and things like that. So there's a
And
lot.
really, like with stocks that are this volatile, just play it for momentum. Like, so if it breaks the high of yesterday, if we look like an early pre-market, the high was like $13. Like if we break $13 on this tomorrow, you could see a nice run up on it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I totally agree on that. Like, it's hard to give future projections on such like a high growth company right now. I mean, there's so many variables for the long term, like we said, news, earnings, the industry they are in, and a lot of things like that. But probably the best way to play this is just like short term momentum trade. So an amazing comment. We have Hunter saying, "Woot woot, thanks guys, happy to be a part of the group." Also, awesome video. I'm interested to see what Spotify earnings after what they've been doing. So let's take a look. Spotify up about 5% today, breaking another high, which is crazy. Spotify is definitely one of the biggest powerhouses of the year, and especially the past couple months. So what do you think about Spotify?
Yeah, I really like them to the upside for the long term. But once again, it's just another one of those tech stocks that I think is just too high for me to pick up shares right now for the long term. But these are awesome stocks to play options on though, not leading into earnings. But if you play, as long as you sell your options, like maybe the day before earnings, they could be good plays going into these earnings. And it's just things that like with Spotify, they might have good earnings, they might have bad earnings, or it might be like Tesla to where they're already maybe priced in for their earnings. Like we see Tesla right now still bleeding off in after hours. It might be a play. I would expect them to honestly move like Tesla and like all the other NASDAQ stocks.
Yep, for sure. So we have King saying, what do you guys think about Beyond at these levels? Earnings next week. Maybe play a run up with month out calls. So let's take a look. Beyond, BYND. I mean, it's definitely consolidating. I can definitely see a run up here.
Yeah, I think I could too. It looks like, obviously they fell during the virus, but it looks like they were even falling before the virus and they didn't really go much lower whenever the virus hit. And I really like the recovery back to the upside, especially with that people have been talking about a lot of food shortages right now. And I think that Beyond Meat, obviously could fill the gap if a lot of people aren't able to, get cows and stuff like that to market quick enough. I think that Beyond Meat will definitely do well, especially in countries with larger populations like China and India.
True. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely, holding some important levels right now, right around the 125 and $130 level. They are showing a lot of strength. So that's definitely good. And I actually really like this setup to the upside. With the next question we have, Daniel saying, question, if you own calls or puts and a company gets bought out, what happens to them? So companies don't just get bought out like overnight. Like, of course, news can come out, but so there's a couple different scenarios. But normally, what happens is your options become what's called a non-standard option, and each non-standard option is different. Sometimes they become cash settled, and sometimes, like, if the company that you have options on gets bought out, like in an all-cash deal, like there's so many variables, but like normally they'll always become a non-standard option. Sometimes you'll get straight up cash for your option, and sometimes you'll get shares, like you'll get shares of the other company for your current option. So it just depends. There's a lot of variables, and there's no one simple answer to that question, but I'm sure a lot of other people had that question, so amazing job. And then we have Michelle saying, like number 143. Thanks for all the great info. So thank you so much for that comment and hitting that like button, Michelle. Tom and I really appreciate, you taking those 2 seconds to hit that like button. It really means a lot. Thank you. With the next question or next comment, we have Slick saying hashtag stocked up. Let's go. With the next comment, we have CG saying, hey guys, I just stumbled across your YouTube feed. I love the energy. Question though, who's on the other side of this $13 million options trade? Somebody's going to eat it. Thoughts? All right. So amazing question. So he was referring to the options trade that we talked about yesterday, the unusual options trade. And that was like I believe it was the Apple 395 strike calls that expired this week. So pretty much there was about $13 million put into this play, and it really looks like they were shorting that option. Those options are down about 30% today, which is what we specifically noted. Watch out for the people shorting this option. And to answer your question, there's not just one person behind the trade. So typically, what happens is you have like a whale, like an institution, or like an institutional trader, or like a hedge fund, or just like someone who has the capital to put $13 million or millions of dollars into a trade. And typically on the other side of that trade, you normally have retail traders or just like a combination of a lot of people. It's not just like a 1v1. Like normally it's like a one versus many. You know what I mean? So like you'll have that giant hedge fund or that giant trader or whatever, and he'll short those options, and a bunch of retail traders or even whoever else who's trading Apple call options will buy those up. So that's typically how it works. So amazing question. So with the next comment we have Seth saying, I'm riding SPCE into the shuttle reveal next week. Should be a decent amount of hype. How would you play SPCE over the weekend? So Tom, I'll let you cover this one.
Yeah, me and a bunch of the guys in the Discord have actually been talking about SPCE all day. And really towards the end of the day, we bought calls on this at around like 26 to 25.58 within this area. I bought them whenever it was at like 25.60. I really like this play to the upside. It looks like they have a ton of movement, especially on a daily chart. Let me clear my drawing set so we can see it better. But yeah, it has a lot of movement to the upside on a daily chart. They just keep breaking highs, at least, the highs of the past few months. They did hit highs of $42, which is great to see because we have a ton of upside leading into earnings and leading into this shuttle reveal. This is something though that if it is going up and you are profitable leading up to the shuttle reveal, and if you want to hold over the weekend, that's something I personally would not do because there is some uncertainty whenever they reveal a shuttle. This could bring the stock down. For example, they could be overhyped leading into it, and then that hype will die off and they will fall after that shuttle is revealed, for example. I've seen this happen a lot with different stocks in the past, and this is something that could do that. And they do kind of have a nice resistance level here at $28. So if you are playing this to the upside, I would really look for it to pop up to 28. And you're gonna have to play it as a momentum play, I think, or obviously a momentum play. But if you wanted to hold it long term, it could be a good option to hold shares of it long term. But you might have to be comfortable holding through large losses as it is a volatile stock.
Yep, for sure. So with that being said, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market tomorrow?
Yeah, really, guys. I've been watching GLD, which is gold. This has just been going up nonstop lately. If we look at /GC, which is gold futures on a daily chart, gold is close to it might be at all-time highs right now at 1,874 per ounce, which is insane for gold. They've just been hitting new highs, even with the market going up, which is kind of scary to see. A lot of people have been saying that whenever countries and institutions are buying a lot of gold and forcing gold up, that's not good for the economy. And right now, the Fed has been pumping the economy up, and really the gold factor, a lot of people and a lot of economists have been talking about this being a big factor with gold going up and the economy being kind of worse than what the Fed is making it out to be.
Yeah, so gold isn't quite at all-time highs yet, but it's definitely getting close. So keep that in mind. And I would not be surprised if gold does test those all-time highs, sometime soon. Silver's also having an amazing run-up, but it's not really close to its all-time highs. So awesome stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Tom and I appreciate all of the support. Thank you guys so much especially everyone who takes literally the 2 seconds to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe. It means so much to us, and we're so grateful for all the people supporting the channel through the form of hitting the like button, subscribing, and commenting. So if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe to see our daily videos on your YouTube homepage every single day. If you guys want to trade the same options that Tom and I trade every single day, click the Stocked Up Options Alert link in the description down below. And if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. Other than that, thanks for watching.